Okay, I'm in the Insight and I'm getting ready to take it on its maiden voyage, just down to the corner and back, and we'll see how things go, if my axles break or otherwise. So let's give this a try. Curb there, that's nice. Whoop. Oh, I think I just started in third gear. Whoops. Gauges and my brakes work, so that's good, right? Oh, that was not good. Oh, that was not good. What's wrong with this gearbox? Ooh. You hear that when you shift? There's third gear. Fourth gear is okay. Fifth gear is okay. Let's go back into third. Ouch. I'm definitely getting the clutch pushed in all the way. I'm not gonna go too far here. Just maybe up around the bend here. Turn here. Second gear. Ouch. I've got the exhaust in the body. That second and third gear is trash though. If it shifts good into fourth and fifth, and it's only second and third that grind, that's probably not a good indication. There's first gear. That second and third shift, this transmission's not so good. I don't really have much of a tune in this thing. Oh, I'm trying to get into second gear. Coolant temp is good. Alternator works. Brakes work. Needs an alignment pretty badly. Let's get around this corner here and give it a light rev and see how she does. Got it in second gear, about 20 miles an hour. Holy frig. Pretty much annihilated the tires there. I'm happy with that. That's pretty good. First gear. And I got a brand new clutch, so I'm okay. Well, if you shift slower than a grandmother, it'll shift into second, third. Second again. Alright, so going back home here. Back into third, super slow. Yeah, that's okay. Second, with any kind of speed. Second, really slow. Yeah, that's trash. Okay, let's put her in the garage. Whoop. Whoopsie daisies, whoopsie daisies. so you can't see me at all. Let me back out again. Share my first thoughts here. There, now you can see me. Okay, so car running at 195 degrees, 13.0 air fuel at idle. It's still pretty fat, but I'd rather have a lot of fuel in it than not enough for this phase. Not feeling good about that transmission, so we'll talk about that in a little bit here. But it moves. Hello again. Well, that didn't go so well, did it? So I don't think I've ever driven a car with a transmission that shifted that bad. Thing seems to grind going into second and third for sure. I didn't get it going fast enough to see how the rest of the gears were, but it seems like a bad sign. I checked the clutch engagement. That's fine. You know, it's got the correct Honda manual transmission fluid in it, so I don't really know, well, I do know what's going on with it. Thing has no synchros left. I've driven some real beater cars and never dealt with synchros that are that bad. So I have a theory about what's going on there. So let me show you this. I'll turn this around. All right, so this engine that I got here, I got a package deal from a guy who had a 2005 Accord drivetrain that he bought from a shop near him, and he bought it with a bad clutch, allegedly, and a bad starter. So he gave me the starter and the clutch with it. And my hope was that the trans would be okay, but sort of putting stuff together, I got a bad feeling here about this transmission after driving it. I haven't taken it apart. I just put it in and hope for the best, and that did not work the best for me, obviously. So the starter was broken. The snout was broken off on it, and here's what the pressure plate looks like. So I don't know if you have ever seen a pressure plate before. You can tell that's been pretty hot. And these tips here are where the throwout bearing, the throwout bearing sits here and pushes down in the middle, and that's how it releases the clutch. Gets your hands nice and dirty. So given the evidence that I've got here, broken starter, pressure plate that's obviously been abused for a long time at best, transmission that doesn't shift even when the clutch is working properly. I replaced the clutch and flywheel. So my theory of what happened here and why the car that this drivetrain came out of was abandoned at the shop was the person that owned it had a failure of the throwout bearing, and that caused a failure of the pressure plate. And the only way I've never seen a starter with the snout wallowed out like that one was. So my theory is that the guy or girl, it could have been a girl too, right? My theory is that they would start the car with it in gear with the clutch pushed down, but the clutch was doing nothing. So they'd start the car in gear with the starter, and with the clutch pushed down, you could do that. And then I think they were just slamming the gears, grinding them every gear just to make the thing move. My suspicion is when I take that trans out, the gears are probably junk, the synchros are probably junk. That transmission is basically garbage. they didn't just do this for a day or two. I think they drove it for an extended period. Good news is the engine's good. Bad news is it's got to come out again. I'm not super crazy about that. Also bad news is I've got to source another transmission. We'll see how that goes. I think I got a line on one nearby. The thing that sucks is the transmission is probably the hardest thing to come by for this setup that I've got in this car. The K-series transmissions are sort of notoriously weak. A lot of them have been abused. You can buy replacement parts. You can buy new synchros and bearings and even gears. But I think to replace everything that I know is bad, which is probably second and third gear for sure, you're probably looking, and all the synchros, you're probably looking at over $1,000 in parts. And you've seen my budget. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going to try to source that transmission, see how that goes. And I'll probably, while I have it out, take the timing cover off of the engine and modify the pulse wheel for the crank sensor and the cam sensor so I can run it full sequential. It seems I've learned that batch fire, fuel injection, and wasted coil and plug runs, but it's in an Insight. I'd like to get decent mileage when I'm not autocrossing it or whatever I'm going to do with it. And when you got to run, 13 2-to-1 air fuel ratio, that's not that conducive to to doing a good job, to not using a lot of fuel. And I think you can actually run these pretty lean at cruise if you have sequential available. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So my hope was that I was going to be driving it soon, but it seems like that's not the case. So that's how it goes. And I guess I could have taken the transmission apart before I put it in. I'm guessing it's bad enough that I would have known. I haven't had lots of manual gearboxes apart that I would have been able to tell that it was compromised. But I needed a gearbox to put in there to put the car together anyway. So I'm not real upset about it. It's kind of a bummer to have to take everything apart again. The good news is I know quite a bit about this car and how the engine goes in and out because I've done it enough times already. So I got that going for me. So yeah.